Hello everybody, Sparkster1701 here. We're taking a look at another Generation 1 figure. This time around we have the Decepticon Fueler and Triple Changer, Octane. Octane was released in 1986, and he would pretty much be only available in 1986, slowly being phased out in 1987. Octane has the rather joined up at a time when the Decepticons were really in search of fuel, as he was also released the same year as Tantrum, the Predacon that was also a fueler, and Ratbat, the Decepticon cassette that functioned as a fuel scout. So the Decepticons were obviously, in 1986, really on the hunt for gas. And this guy would be the one that would carry it. Octane has been described as a mean-spirited bully, since one of his favorite things to do is watch his fellow Decepticons run out of fuel and then have to beg and plead that he's the greatest around before he'll even let them have any of the fuel he's carrying. Consequently, though, since that makes him a hated character, it also means he's also a target. Made worse by the fact that both of his alternate modes, as you will be seeing, are designed primarily for transport, not assault. So he has no weaponry on his vehicle modes, since they're both meant primarily to store a lot of fuel. If any Transformer should hit him with a weapon that could penetrate his armor and ignite the fuel, Octane here will die a very horrible, fast, and very destructive death. In recent media, though, Octane has been thrown out of the Decepticons and is predominantly portrayed as a mercenary character, which probably suits him a little better. Strangely enough, though, Octane is also taller than many of the Triple Changers, as he easily dwarfs both Blitzwing and Astrotrain. At any rate, the only articulation that we can look at for Octane is in his arms. His arms do rotate all the way around, but unfortunately his wings get in the way of that. So does his shield, so we'll take that off. So you can see that his arm does rotate freely all the way. And he has a double-jointed elbow, so it can bend his arm 90 degrees in either position. So, you've at least gotten to see how that works on him. Before we transform Octane, let's take a look at all of his loose accessories. Starting with the one that really doesn't get listed anywhere. This is the tanker cover. It's all done up in chrome plastic. As you can see, mine's wearing a bit. I did not have Octane as a child, so I bought him as an adult collector. The instructions don't have you do anything with this piece unless he's in the tanker mode. You saw him there moments ago with it mounted on his arm. That I saw from a picture in Mark Bellomo's book about the Transformers. It is sort of difficult to do, but if you fold the wings back a bit, you can mount this on his arm and it gives him an extra shield. And we have Octane's gun. which ironically is listed as a flamethrower. Even though it doesn't come with a hose of any sort. Supposedly, according to the lore, Octane uses the fuel he carries as the fuel for his flamethrower. So, he's always got that going for him. And then next we have this last piece here, which is a tail rudder for his airplane mode when it folds up like this. But when it's opened up, like what we had it, there we go, it is listed as a deflecto shield. Which, since he's pretty much running around with several thousand gallons of gasoline inside of him, a shield will definitely come in handy. Pity it's just so small. Okay, to transform Octane, we start by folding his legs inward together, like so. And then we're going to take his arms. You're going to rotate them all the way, even going so far as to move the gray plastic behind them, all the way back behind them. Because you want his arms to slightly rest against the wings. Just like that. Now if you get it to go back one more click, there we go. Then his arms should completely be against the wings perfectly. Then next we're going to take his chest piece here, and we're going to fold it up and cover his head. Then we come down here to his feet, and you're going to fold this section down the one way, adjusting as needed until it rotates around. Then we're going to come back here to his chest piece. We're going to open up these side flaps, bring them out. You'll raise up these small wings. Get them close to connecting, but don't connect them yet, because you're going to need his shield. We set the shield by folding it in half, and then you insert the posts into the guide holes, and then close the piece all together. And then there you have Octane's aerial mode. The Transformers Wikia lists that it's based on the Boeing 767 airplane. Unfortunately, it has a set of wheels sticking out of the top of the fuselage, so it looks a little weird. But other than that, as an airplane, it isn't too bad. You can at least get a good grip on it, unlike the jet plane from the Battlefield headquarters we reviewed earlier in the month. And this plane does swoosh relatively good. It makes for a nice little fun toy to play with. Now, the next thing we need to do is to transform him into his land vehicle. To do that, of course, we gotta pop the tail piece open, so we can get the tail fin out of the way. You'll fold the tail wings down, and then bring them back into the sides, adjusting as necessary. And then next, we're going to take the cockpit here of the plane. We got to rotate the section out and around like so. Then next, as we turn him over, we're going to fold the wings down somewhat. Then you rotate them to the back. And as you see, there's a hole right here in the side of the toy back by the wheels. Well, there's a little tiny post on the wing. I'm sure you can figure out what we're going to do there. And then we want to rotate the arms. Yeah, I got them backwards. Rotate it so the gray portion is going down. And then they want the instructions show that they have the arms laying backwards, like that. Plus, of course, you've also got to raise him up here at his hip so that he has enough ground clearance. And then, of course, the next thing to do is take the tanker cover and just snap that into place. Just like that. And then there you have it. He is in his tanker mode. The tanker mode is not based on any existing vehicle, and it by far is the worst looking of the vehicle modes, especially given the fact that his arms hang out very easily and are easily seen. So, unfortunately, it's kind of the worst mode. And of course, the cover here on the back doesn't stay on very well, but part of that could be age and play wear. How does Octane roll on his wheels? Rather poorly, to be honest with you. He really doesn't roll that great. What a shame. Alrighty, let's take a look now at Octane's instructions. As you can see, this would show that Octane was packaged in the tanker truck mode. And then they slowly transform him from the tanker mode into airplane mode. And then we go from the airplane to the robot. And then we get a nice page of all the stickers to put on him. So you can see Octane had a lot of stickers to put on. And we get on the last page with the rub signs, the robot points, and the tech specs. The usual stuff we came to expect on these toys. At any rate, we'll take a look at Octane's tech spec now. It's done up predominantly in purple to show he's a Decepticon. It even lists a Decepticon above the picture. It gives his name as Octane, and his function is Fueler. His motto is, "He who has fuel has power." A greedy, mean-spirited bully. Enjoys watching fellow Decepticons become painfully inoperative from lack of fuel. Forces Autobots off roads and aerial bots to abort landings just for fun. Crashes make him laugh. In jet mode, range 700 miles, maximum speed 750 miles per hour. In tanker mode, range 65,000 miles, maximum speed 90 miles per hour. Carries 10,000 gallons of fuel. Carries fuel-powered flamethrower and deflecto shield. He enjoys crashes, but if he isn't careful, getting in one himself could probably also cause him to have a very violent death. At any rate, we take a look here at his stats. It gives his strength as 6, his intelligence is also 6, his speed is 7, his endurance is 4, his rank is 7, his courage is 3, his firepower is 4, and his skill is 7. So, while he's pretty much average in a lot of stats, it's noticeable that Octane is not very brave. So now we get down to my thoughts on Octane. Octane's a useful character for the Decepticons, being their main source of transporting fuel. The biggest downside to him is his character. Being a mean-spirited bully means that he's not going to make friends easily. Not like the Decepticons really make friends amongst themselves too well. But that also means that it just makes him more of a target of retaliation. And especially with him containing several thousand gallons of fuel inside of him, that more or less means if he ends up getting struck in a way that it ignites the fuel, he will die. And unfortunately for him, his death will be something that will be permanent, as he will likely be scattered into several pieces, many of which would likely be vaporized in the explosion. As a toy, though, Octane's a little bit on the restrictive side. I mean, granted, yes, having a fueler on the team is always a good thing, but the toy is pretty limited on what you can do with it. His articulation in robot mode is about what you'd expect from the Transformers Generation 1 line. The robot mode is at least imposing, to say the least, the way it stands here. The airplane mode doesn't look too bad, especially if you can overlook the set of wheels that are protruding from the top of it. If you can ignore that, then the airplane mode is pretty good. The tanker truck mode, as I stated earlier, it's the worst mode out of all of them, since the arms aren't even concealed in any way, shape, manner, or form. I mean, I have seen some alter the transformation a bit where they're bending the arms at both elbows to try to hide them a little bit. And while that does work to a degree, it also still just highlights the point that his arms are sticking out. And it still looks stupid. But if those are things you can overlook, then Octane is certainly one for your collection. At any rate, that concludes my review of the Generation 1 Decepticon Fueler, Octane. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you liked the video, please leave me a thumbs up here on YouTube. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and join our ranks. Make sure you ring the bell so you'll be notified when I post new content. We also ask that you share this video with your friends and fellow collectors. That's what helps this channel grow. And also share your thoughts about Octane in the comments down below. Now, next month, viewers, we're going to be doing something a little different. And I want to keep it a surprise for you. So please look forward to it. We're going to hopefully be able to cover something we haven't covered here on this channel yet. Hopefully my plans will work out for it. This is Sparkster1701 saying I will catch you all later.